Step-by-step exam solutions. Okay, math class, training you to excel. Subscribe to step-by-step exam solution. Give a thumbs up. Share with friends. Click the notification button so that you receive the next video. Please drop your comment. It is very important. Okay, math class, present step-by-step to exam success. Step 1, pray. Step 2, plan. Step 3, prepare. Step 4, preview. Step 5, perform. Okay, math class, step-by-step exam solution to statistics. In this series of presentation, we'll be dealing with statistics. So far, we have gone through video 1 and 2 on histograms. Then video 3 on bar charts and pie charts. And then the next video after this series will be calculation of mean, median, and mode, standard deviation, mean deviation, etc. In this present video, we'll be dealing with pie charts. Pie charts. Our objectives for this present video are: number 1, prepare a frequency distribution table. Choose a reasonable scale. Draw a pie chart and use it to answer questions. The question now. The table below shows how a man spends his income in a month. A. Represent the information on a pie chart. B. What percentage of his income is spent on transportation? Let's answer the question together now. The total income or the total expenditure for the man will be the summation of all these. The first one for food is 45 degrees. Then we'll add that to the house rent, 3,000. Then we'll add that to provision, 2,500. Then we'll add that to electricity, 2,000. Then for transportation, we have 5,000. And finally for others, we have 3,000. Using calculator to add all these numbers together, we are going to get the total number of expenditure will be 20,000. 20,000 for that month. So now we're going to use the total expenses or expenditure to calculate the angle represented by each of these amounts spent by the man in this particular month we are looking at. For the first item, food, let's find the angle represented by food. And to do that, we have the amount for food is 4,500. Then we are going to divide this by the total expenditure, which is 20,000. Now, simplifying that, we are going to multiply that by 360, divide by 1. Simplifying, we are going to have 81 degrees. So therefore, for the item food, the angle represented by that sector will be 81 degrees. Now we'll move to the next item, house rent. The total amount spent on this particular house rent is 3,000. So therefore, the angle represented by that will give us 3,000 over 20,000. Multiply by 360 over 1. Now, using calculator to evaluate this, we are going to see that will give us an angle of 54 degrees. Then we are going to move to the next item, provision. The angle represented by provision will give us the amount for provision, 2,500, divided by the total amount, 20,000, multiply by 360 over 1. Dividing with calculator, we are going to have the angle as 45 degrees. The next item is electricity. The amount represented by electricity is 2,000. So we are going to divide 2,000 by the total amount, 20,000. We are going to multiply that by 360 degrees, the total angle at the center of a circle. Using calculator to evaluate this, we are going to have the angle to be 36 degrees. The next is transportation. For transportation, we have that the amount spent for transportation is 5,000. Divided by the total amount, 20,000. Multiply by 360. Using calculator to evaluate this, we are going to have our answer as 90 degrees. And finally, we are going to find the angle represented by other expenditures. And the amount spent for other things is 3,000. Divided by the total amount, 20,000. Then we'll multiply that by 360 over 1. Using calculator to evaluate this, we are going to have our answer as 54 degrees. Now that we have calculated the angles for each of the sectors that to represent these items, the next now is to make a table so that we can have the angles. You can see the table. For food, 81 degrees. For house rent, 54 degrees. For provision, 45 degrees. For electricity, 36 degrees. For transportation, 90 degrees. For other items, 54 degrees. Now the next is that we take our compass, draw a circle. This circle represents the total expenditure and also represents the total angle for this expenditure, which is 360 degrees. Now we're going to start by representing each of these sectors on this circle to give us the pie chart. Now let's start. Subscribe, give a thumbs up, share with friends, click the notification button so that you receive the next video. So now we're going to now do that now. We first of all drop this horizontal line through the center of the circle. And then we're now going to bring our protractor and make sure that the center of the protractor is exactly at the center of the circle as you are seeing it here now. And the dark line representing the line of 180 to 180 here, or 0 to the 0 at the top here. That means this line must align with the white line. Now that that is perfectly aligned, we're now going to measure out the angle we're looking for. 90 degrees. Now we count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and this is 90. So use your pencil, mark a dot here, and then drop the line of 90 degrees. Now, this gives us the sector representing this angle. So we're now going to fill in that sector. We're going to fill in that sector before we continue. Then we'll now put our protractor to measure for the next angle. That gives us the angle of 81. This. Follow this. Again, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, then 81. This line represents the angle for 81. We're going to fill that angle by clicking this. That gives us the sector for food, while this one is the sector for transportation. Now, having shown you with protractor how to get the first sector for transportation and the next sector for food, then we are now going to go straight to fill in the sector for provision, 45 degrees, then the sector for electricity, 36 degrees, and then the sector for others, 54 degrees, and finally the sector for house rent, 54 degrees also. This gives us the pie chart, because the question says we should represent the information in a pie chart. The next is to answer the question on B. So we can measure the other angles with the protractor and then draw the sectors for the items as already we have done. Now, what percentage of his income is spent on transportation? Percentage, remember, is dividing a particular quantity by 100. Now the question is, what amount is spent on transportation? The amount spent on transportation is 5,000. The total amount is 20,000. On the alternative, the angle for transportation is 90 degrees and the total angle at the center of the circle is 360. So we are at liberty to use any of these to find the percentage. Now let's do that. For transportation, the angle at the center, the amount is 5,000, while the total amount spent by the man for that month is 20,000. Dividing 5,000 by 20 and then multiplying by 100 will now give us the percentage as 25%. Like I said, we can equally get this 25% by using the angle for transportation, 90 degrees, divided it by the angle at the center of the circle, 360. So now that brings us to the end of this presentation on pie charts. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and please drop your comments so that I can serve you better.